So I've streamed and played quite a bit of RF Online Next over the last couple days, and I just want to take a minute here to go over my unsponsored thoughts. First things first, I did play the original RF Online. I didn't play it during its peak. I probably didn't play enough of it to accurately make comparisons here. So I'm going to talk about RF Online Next from the perspective of it being its own individual game. I know there are points that connect the two, but I think it'd be a bit disingenuous of me to speak from the perspective of a veteran player. Immediately upon getting into the game, you'll notice that you can create quite a good looking character. There are a lot of options, there are a lot of skin colors, a lot of hairstyles, a lot of facial sliders. This allows for you to create something very, very attractive, and it makes sense this is developed by Netmarble, which means it's a Korean MMO. Korean MMOs are known to have exceptional character creators. Even in the worst games that have terrible combat or terrible stories, the character creator is always exceptional and a standout feature. And in this one, it is no different. You're thrown into this futuristic sci-fi world that's actually kind of pretty to look at. This is a cross-platform MMO, so it's released onto PC and mobile. For a cross-platform MMO, I dare say this is probably one of the better looking ones. If we're comparing this to a full PC exclusive MMO or PC console MMO, something like Black Desert Online or Blade and Soul, then no, I don't think graphically it compares. But in terms of cross-platform MMOs, things like Blue Protocol Star Resonance, Odin Valhalla Rising, the Lineage MMOs, then yeah, this does actually look pretty good. You're thrown into this ridiculously cringe, hilarious story. I wouldn't say it's bad. I don't really know any Korean MMOs that actually have good stories outside of maybe Blade and Soul. I liked some of the original Ion. I liked some of the original Lineage. I liked some of the original Terra, like a little bit of it. But Blade and Soul, I think, probably had the best narrative presentation out of all Korean MMOs I've ever played. This one is just like, I just found myself laughing at every single juncture of the story. I was left just kind of staring at it like, why would you do that? Or why wouldn't you do this? Which I guess is just a prime example of MMO storytelling, because for the most part, they're not traditionally known for having and then telling good stories. The world is pretty large. It's also open, but open in the same way that mobile MMOs are. And that is that there are these little hubs that have a bunch of different merchants, a couple different quest targets. You talk to them, you go outside, you auto kill if you want to, because autoplay is present. I never utilized it because I would one-shot every single monster because you're given relatively powerful equipment. So there's really no purpose in having it auto when you can probably, like at this juncture in the game, go through it quicker and easier just by clicking your one mouse button or your one key on your hotbar. There are multiple different hubs that you can navigate to with multiple different quest targets, and a world that has tons of monsters that you can auto farm. You'll find lots of people doing this. I think the monsters were giving like 0.1 to 1% XP per kill, so there is an actual reason to do so if you find yourself, for whatever reason, struggling to kill monsters, or you're just trying to farm items or currency or whatever else you get. But the world outside of these large hordes of enemies just kind of felt like a little bit pointless. And this isn't a jab at RF Online Next specifically. This is more a jab at mobile MMOs, and that is that there are always these enormous worlds to navigate, and there's always just so little to do in it outside of grinding your normal just like trash monsters. Then every now and then you'll see like a large elite monster spawn. You'll go there with a group of other players, and then you'll just like auto AFK there while your skills are cycled through and you kill the boss. I think this is probably one of the things that Blue Protocol Star Resonance did better. The world actually had like tons of items to mine, lots of treasure chests to find, and like there were actual reasons to go out into the world and explore. But in RF Online Next, the world is actually pretty, and it just, like, I wish there were more reasons to actually exist in it outside of it just being a pathway to get to the next area. And you can also use the little button over on the right to just auto teleport to an area, which I didn't realize and learn until I was almost done. This makes it exponentially quicker, exponentially easier than just like teleporting directly to a base or running all the way there. The cosmetics in this game are crazy. They are, a lot of them obtained through the gacha, and god damn, like, you can tell this is a mobile MMO. You can, gacha games are like, you do 50, 100, 150 polls for a character, you get the new character. The new character is fun to use, but in mobile MMOs, it's like you do tons of polls and you get, you know, crappy cosmetic items or crappy armor, and you have to keep pulling, and then you get like a decent or really good outfit or piece of gear that's very powerful and then has a detrimental effect on your character itself, your power, meaning that people that don't pull or people that don't have access to it are at a severe disadvantage. This is probably the only negative I have for the game. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. All the outfits provide significant combat power advantages, like thousands, tens of thousands of HP, increases of like upwards of 100% of some of your stats. It's insane how powerful you can become. Now, I don't know if you can earn the currency to pull for these outfits in game. I know that you do get dozens of free pulls by playing it, which means that technically you should be able to, at the very least, obtain some of the outfits. I don't know if you're going to be capable of obtaining them like every single major patch that drops, or if you're going to have to fork out some money in the long term. But people that have that money there at the beginning that can spend hundreds of dollars are going to have these enormous statistical advantages. I don't know if PvP is balanced or not, but if not, then that is going to pose a significant risk to your enjoyment, I think, and your ability to actually win. I didn't do any PvP, so I can't really talk on that topic myself. There are those little pet things as well that have various different statistical bonuses. There are multiple ways that you can spend money to obtain power, which I've never been okay with. I have never been in support of in any MMO. I'm okay with things like XP potions. I'm okay with things like mounts giving you increased movement speed or something like that. These are purely cosmetic and reward you essentially for supporting the company, but I don't like gear, or I don't like anything that provides you a significant statistical bonus that is going to give you an advantage over other players that can't spend. But again, as I noted, I don't know if you can earn this currency in game at regular intervals to allow for you to actually and accurately obtain a sufficient amount of pulls to obtain all the outfits and everything in game, and people that pay can just get them quicker and easier. If that's the case, then that's totally fine, and I don't think it's really pay to win. I think it's more pay for an advantage or pay to advance. So you guys are going to have to go ahead and elaborate, I think, a little bit on that. I think it's too early in its release right now to accurately gauge that. The combat itself isn't bad. Again, you can auto, which means there is a simplicity to it. I think I just power through everything, like one tapping bosses, and I think at the final point after several hours, I think I was 2 or 3 tapping bosses. So they are very cool. There are some boss battles that are stunning. Some of them have actually very interesting, very fun mechanics, but overall I didn't really find any difficulty in it, and that's because, once again, I was very powerful. I believe the voice acting was entirely AI. If it wasn't AI, then I don't know what they were doing, because it definitely sounded AI. That made for some hilarious conversations. But if they're gonna have AI, I think they should have like an AI chat available where you can talk directly to the AI characters, kind of like what was done in Where Winds Meet and Sword of Justice. That way you can listen to what they say, and then you can respond to them, and they can then respond to what you responded with, and then you have these deep, interesting, engaging conversations with them that just lead to very weird, interesting places that make for some hilarious interactions on stream. Overall, though, that's pretty much all I can think of. The game looks good. The game is relatively fun. There is some pay to win unless all of these items are obtainable, and unless all of the currency is easily obtainable in game. I think that the narrative was very cringe, but at the same time, kind of funny and semi-enjoyable. The world needs more to it, and I really do like the sci-fi theme and aesthetic. I know the game isn't necessarily going to be for everyone, and that's totally fine. Again, this is a completely unsponsored video, but I do think at the end of the day here, this is probably one of the better mobile MMOs out there. This is cross-platform compatible, and I feel like it was definitely ported on over to PC rather than being developed for PC and then ported to mobile. But that's okay, because mobile MMOs have an insane market. And again, at the end of the day, this is not a bad game. I think the only issue is probably the cosmetics that have a stat boost applied to them, but that's pretty much par for the course with mobile MMOs. So at that juncture, is it any different? No. So then is that even bad? From the perspective of a PC gamer, yes, but from the perspective of a mobile gamer, no, not at all. So then ultimately, this is probably a pretty damn good mobile MMO. As a PC MMO, I'd say it's just okay. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.